Oh, I'm gonna talk about you, and I'm gonna make you get in front of everybody else and tell them what you were thinking when you did what you did. But they need to hear that because they're gonna be in that same position, and they're gonna remember the choices you made. And once you tell us the choices you made and why you made them, then we're gonna go back because we were heavy on role plays. Then we're gonna role play different ways that situation could have went. You know, different ways that you could have got you a positive consequence out of that situation. So, in saying that, the three components that they were saying with the top 25, another component was a lack of social being able to be provided outside of athletic. There was no social for young people in the city. And Brandon, again, with the title of program director and athletic director, has come up with a brilliant foundation for social event, and he called it Cool Zone. I'm gonna let him elaborate on it.
Well, that was just something that we had bounced amongst each other, and we was just rapping about what was stuff that we missed from growing up as kids. And I remember one of the strong recreational fun things that we did as a pastime was roller skating. We would go out to the roller skating week, Midway. That was a pastime that was just awesome. I mean, we got to interact with kids from Paw Paw, from Sturgis, from Marshall, Matawan, all over. So it was just kind of, that, meetup ground. You got kids from Battle Creek, you got kids from all over, and, we was able to form long-lasting friendships and relationships from just roller skating. Also, we laugh and say that there isn't much aquatics in the neighborhood. There is no water parks for our kids to.
We have full black, but we can afford to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
$10
a head.
we were shut out from those doors weeks, months after they told us it was free and showed us that the budgets wasn't right for us to be free for the community, which we understand and we respect it. But again, I mean, as a kid came from New York, we would just turn on fire hydrants, and that's how we use recreation, and we would cool off.
That was our water
so that's our water fountain. So I mean, forgive me, but kids today, they need a place where it's a community, and they know that I can go there anytime and I can jump in the pool, or there's some swimming programs going on, or there's a dance a dance class, or a dance studio that's open. There's a lot of things that we've brainstormed and we've thought about that could be, one, influential in our community, and one, just for the betterment of our young kids. And this is something that we don't want to just close off to our kids by saying the cool people kids, but the kids of Battle Creek and the greater Battle Creek. We want everybody to feel included, like Coach was speaking about earlier, social equity. And being able to be diverse, for all of us to get a chance to participate in being able to get a chance to learn people from across town, where again, much like we said, if it's not a basketball or football game, you're not interacting with a kid from Lakeview. You're not interacting with kids from Harper Creek. So
across the tracks.
Yeah, across the tracks. You're not gonna get that same type of social, just social experience. Today, everything is on our cell phones and social websites. We don't get a chance to meet up at a place and genuinely be like, "Hey, what's up, Rod? How you been?" Like I said, I remember when we were young, there was no cell phones. You had to jump on your bike and go to ride around the neighborhood, and you find out where everybody was at whose house.
Exactly.
So now, but again, we understand that it's a different age, and it's a different time of entertainment, and we've talked about also being a very integral part of the Cool Zone and just our program itself is technology and the betterment of being able to be more technology driven and technical savvy. What word am I using? Dominique, I mean, it's the tech head over here. But basically, again, our kids should be writing code. Our kids should be creating video games. Going to a place where you could talk to someone about what avenues and streets do I have to, look down to see if I want to be a programmer. What programs, and again, and people like my brother and, other people in community have the resources to do these things, and we want to have those type of components in this cool zone. It sounds kind of far-fetched and a lot of stuff going on, but that's exactly what we want. We want to provide all type of experiences, all type of different programming. Like as me and Rod was riding up here today, we was just speaking about that. That again, we want to be able to show that kids can do things that us adults look at it as it's hard to do, but kids want to be a part of film crews. They want to see the ins and outs of how do you put together an athletic program? How do you bring in a musical artist? What is it going to take for me to contact some of these managers and get a writer and see what is a writer? These are things that our kids need to know. What facets they need to learn and know before that they can, like I said, be able to be in these realms with these people and shrug shoulders with them. Because again, if we never got these experience growing up, going to a place like Coach said, 4-H, and we never was able to stand on the sideline and watch somebody teach from a sports perspective, or even from a perspective of technology, and teach a kid how to write code, we would never even get the opportunity to know that, again, this is a love and a passion that we want to express and show to the rest of the community. But again, like I said, I kind of got off topic a little bit, but again, that's basically the whole idea of the cool zone, bringing in the community, bringing all the resources that are, you can go to the Y Center and work out, but I mean, is there a true social life coach there for you? Also, helping your daily life. Is there a nutritionist there for the sports program for the young kids? Do they understand how to eat right to prepare their bodies for a Saturday evening sports game? Where again, we want to be the facility that opens up and affords these programs to the community that aren't being afforded to our kids. We don't have, like I was talking to John, my brother, Keith's son, when we was just talking about that, the experience where we was laughing at the fact that we remember where we would get excited to go to these Lions games and we would be in the nosebleed section. But the fact that we got out of Battle Creek and we was able to experience being in that setting, and where we would never, like I said, I would never be able to go to a Pistons game or a Lions game if it wasn't for cool people and our resources at the time. But the point we were trying to make is the fact that at this time, the type of resources that this community has and the people that want to help us and community organizations that we've been in reach with, they have the resources that we can take our kids to events where we don't have to sit in the nosebleed. They can sit on the 50-yard line. They can go to Michigan and run the tunnel, with Coach Harbaugh. These are things that are attainable and can happen. But again, it's going to take the wild dreams that we have and we discuss over. It's going to take resources and people giving us a chance that normally someone else probably don't think that we deserve, but our community is screaming for help right now. We need to latch on to the kids, and I think that's the one part of Battle Creek that y'all forgot, is taking care of the younger generation, so that again, people like us would want to come back home and want to give back and want to, like I said, just retention. People don't understand that word as much, but again, with retention, you're gonna have to give. In order for somebody to want to come back, you're gonna have to.
Yeah, and in saying that about getting outside the elements, just recently here, Chris Evans from the University of Michigan, came to Battle Creek, and he noticed that a lot of our football players didn't have proper equipment to play tackle football, and that kind of stuck in his heart. Talking to these young men and seeing the desires that they have, and understanding that some of them were quite good, but there's no reason for our young people to have to play football with inferior equipment, and in some cases not having cleats or mouthpieces. So I can't play because I don't have these things, and the money's not there for me when we're spending so much money on athletics in the end. But Mr. Evans came in, he fitted these young people with helmets. He's sending over 60 helmets and mouthpieces and other equipment, so they'll have the proper equipment they need, mostly for their safety. That's the bottom line.
That's the truth.
These equipment are necessary for their safety, because this is a game and it's a contact sport. So we really appreciate him for that. And also, he went the next step. Last Sunday, he invited 20 students down to the big house. These young people played flag football in the big house, on the big house field. They left there. They went into the locker rooms. They met players. They left there. They went to the weight room and watched them bench press 253, and listen to people say, you know what, little man, you're a little stocky built, man, you're going to be able to do this when you get there. And it's just those type of things, them getting outside their element. Now all they talk about is when they get to college, what they going to do. When I get to college, what I'm going to do. These individuals here, they, like I said, we didn't always get the best seats at the football game. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to give Lions State props. We had good seats at the Lions game. We was always around the
in the Silver Dome?
End zone.
In the Silver Dome?
In the Silver Dome. We was in the end zone, but we wasn't waiting. We wasn't too cheap. The Pistons.
Yeah, the Pistons.
We were on the back wall of the last seat.
I think I needed a magnifying glass.
But again, getting them outside their elements, and even with these young people, when we took them to do that, we wanted to take them to actual Michigan State game, either one, and we had to have a 3-to-1 ratio with adults, because you're talking 100,000 people at the big house. But a 3-to-1 ratio for 3 tickets was $5,200. So imagine taking those 20 individuals to one football game that they'll never forget in the rest of their life. And even though the tickets are $5,200 for 3 people, wow, that experience would be worth whatever amount it took to make that happen. And that's what we have to get with as a community. We have to stop looking at, taking what we can get. We have to show these people the best of everything. The best of everything. And once they see the best of everything and see the people that does these things, they realize again that they're not no giants. They're not anything special. They're just regular, everyday people. But I've never been told that I was regular, everyday people. I've been told that, I live in a low geographical area. I go to an urban school, things that goes on in my neighborhood can't go on. We have gang banging over here. You can't go on this side of the tracks after 5 o'clock, because it get dark, you're on the wrong side of the track, you're in trouble. But even in that, when you get it on the wrong side of the track, you have 5 numbers you can call. Don't walk home. Why would you walk home if you know you're gonna get in trouble or put your life in danger? So even though, again, we're gonna scold you and be on you for why you was on the other side of the tracks at that time, we want to break that whole scenario. There should be no other side of the tracks. And the only way to do that is to get these young people in an environment where they're all coming together, where even when we're not there as adults, that there's somebody there that says, even though you over here in Post Avenue and you shouldn't be, and my boys don't like the fact that they caught you over here, I'm gonna stand up and say, you know what? He's all right. You know, he's one of my friends. So you're creating a safe zone just through doing that for when we as adults, we as nonprofit agencies, we as organizations, we're not going to be in the streets with these young people. They're going to be there. They're going to have to police themselves. And the only way they're going to do that is ownership. Young people join gangs because they want to belong to something. They want to be a part of something. Why not be a part of something that's positive? This is our 33rd year in October. This is our 33rd year as a grassroots organization working here in Battle Creek. And even though I take some pride in knowing that I get phone calls from young people sometimes that I don't remember their faces, I remember their names, and they just call in to check on old coach and just to say hello, and I was thinking about you, and it feels good. I still feel bad over the fact that that was only a handful of the young people that I was able to contact and be a part of their life. So what we need to do is, first of all, we need to ask families and tell them how appreciative we are and how honored we feel that you allow us to be a part of your child's life, that you allow us to be a part of your family's life, because that's what we want to do. We want to create a community, extended family, which what we've been for 33 years, and these young men have attested to. That's what we want to continue being, but we want to do this now on a broader basis where we can start tearing down these barriers about the cracks and Post Avenue and Orchard Park. You know, when you're together every day, you can't keep those walls up. You're going to have to make a choice. And a lot of them want to make choices. One of our biggest negative thoughts as adults is that these young people running out here wild and crazy because they want to. No, young people want structure. Structure brings safety. They want to be held accountable. Accountability brings success. And you know what? It's easy to do right when everybody else is doing right. It's easy to be successful in school when everybody else is being successful in school. But if I have to do social first in school, then academics going to come maybe even third to liability, not liability, but safety. If I got to pick a group or individual to have a click with socially so I can be safe going home, that's a situation for failure, because those are my main objectives. But that goes back to what I was saying about making sure that they have the basic needs that they need for survival, to be able to get forward and do those type of things where they can enhance their ability to become whatever they want to become. We have a plethora of T-shirts throughout the years, and one that really stuck with me was one that said, "Cool people youth, living their dreams." And that shirt should be Battle Creek youth, living their dreams. And I want Mr. Evans to piggyback a little bit on, just pick something that stepped out in your life, or just one event, one incident that being in Cool People made you made the right decision. Or you made a wrong decision and thought about Cool People afterwards.
I got you. I would say for Cool People going to Michigan State for 4-H, maybe really want to go to college. I think Cool People was the first organization to introduce me into like learning how to use a computer for real. You know, and I know that's funny to say now, but you got to think, like, this is back when, you know, you got Microsoft and IBM and, you know what I'm saying?
Desktop.
Like, this is before, this before
Laptop, what?
iPod.
Desktop.
We was in the bottom of the church.
This
getting
before,
free hand-me-down computers, putting them together,
Right.
riding down there,
Right.
messing around with stuff.
Remember
I
we
don't
went to go
remember
pick 'em
how.
up?
I don't remember how. Who did we get from a
KCC
church?
donate them to us.
Oh, okay, KCC. I do remember
donated
that.
those.
Yes.
With the floppy disk drive.
Yeah, that was like our first, and I remember writing some of like my college interim, you know what I'm saying, exam papers on them same computers. And again, it was around the time that, I mean, I think the only thing you really could do on the computer is like look for fake Jordans and stuff like that. So the internet wasn't right. Yeah, do your schoolwork. The internet definitely wasn't what it was today, and I don't think Google wasn't around that time either.
Because your first computer at college, like I said, the interview in your dorm was a computer that we took from the basement at the church and sent off to college with them. So again, it's things like that you know a family does. You know. Like I said, getting you the experience of, like I said, if you're going to the University of Michigan, because they didn't just go to the University of Michigan. First of all, preparation. Before we even went to University of Michigan, we did other things with 4-H. You know, we went to other events at 4-H. But
substance abuse training,
we did all those
sexuality conferences. That was cool.
The youth conferences, you know, the sexuality youth conferences that you know all of them like. But I got a couple of Scared Straight videos that they didn't like what they seen, and you know, but again. If you're hearing us talking here, you hear in family. You hear how we interact with each other, and that's how young people have to be able to feel when they're interacting with whoever the significant positive adults are in their life. And again, in saying that, Dominique, give us an example of something that stood out in your life. Rather than me leaving you when you wasn't ready that morning when we went to get our school clothes.
Oh,
you remember that? You hanging out the window talking about wait.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
You talking about in regards to
something just stood out to you that you said if it wasn't for cool people, or because I was in cool people, I made this decision and it was against what our creed was, or something that was, I'm glad I was able to do that.
The one thing that stood out to me was the one thing that stood out to me was the motto, make it happen. When I was a youngster, and actually still sometimes today, I had a hard time with not only generating my own personal excuses, but also being a chronic procrastinator.
Promptness.
Real talk.
And it took me a long time to really kind of get the grip on it, because I always had the best excuse. And you know, one thing about Coach is he never gave me an opportunity to ride on that. It was always, listen, if it ain't right, it's not right. And at the end of the day, you have to be the one to accept the responsibilities for your own actions. So if that means that you got to get docked a paycheck, if that means you got to do extra community service for free, if that means that you gotta go to these weekend seminars or whatever the case may be.
You can't go to the Southwest
exactly. I miss plenty of opportunities to have a great time. I missed the Pistons game for being a knucklehead. You know, it took me a long time to really get the gist of it. But when I got older and I started to realize, like, okay, I'm an adult now. I'm in college. I don't have the best disciplinary practices. without having somebody, over my shoulder, like, okay, this ain't working
got
out,
you.
exactly,
It's accountability.
I still had people I could call and depend on. I still had people that would check up on my progress. But even if it's 2:00 in the morning and I know I got a 10-page paper that's due, or I got an exam the next day. Once upon a time, I might have had that mentality, like, you know what, better luck next time, But I mean, it took me a while to kind of get the grip, and I am an avid all-nighter type of person. Like if I know that it's about to go down, I will pull an all-nighter, take an exam, and then go straight to work all day long, and I'll eventually potentially get some sleep. Having those expectations put on me from young, from as far back as the 3rd grade, put me on path to be able to say that, you know what, I don't want to just be
mediocre.
the head fry guy at McDonald's. I no offense to those dudes, appreciate the good work. I don't want to just be a manager at Foot Locker. You know what I mean? I want to do something. Hey, excuse me. My bad. At least you got the J's on the low, right? But
Real talk.
yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, I really got an opportunity to focus on what I wanted to do. Before I even knew that the Calhoun Area Technology Center existed, Coach was the one who told me that they had a drafting program and insisted that I enroll in it. That was where I got the first experience that I ever had with any type of mechanical-based drafting. And it actually put me on track. Okay, I know I want to be an architect, but I don't know what they do. I don't know how they do it. All I know is I like to draw stuff. And it definitely molded my intentions. It made me start to really think about how I wanted to live my life. And even though after transitioning over to the civil engineering side, I did realize that architecture wasn't quite my fit, but it pointed me in the right direction. And with doing civil engineering, dealing with structure and bridges and roadways, and I personally would prefer to do construction engineering, but I'll still get my architecture fix. I'll still be able to do design work. I'll still be able to go out into the field. Exactly. And I never got an opportunity. I don't think until I was an adult in college I ever met an engineer before.
Wow.
But
Right.
I love to tell young people that I'm an engineer. I love to pull out my notebooks and be like, hey, flip through these pages real quick. Let me show you what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. It makes me proud to see people in that position, just because of the fact that even if we're just having a light conversation in the grocery store, whatever the case may be, what do you want to do? What are your aspirations? Do you intend to go to college? Well, try Western Michigan University, because they'd love to have you at Parkview. That's my thing. I having somebody coaching me, pushing me in the right direction, kind of got me on the path to where I felt most comfortable for myself. So all those things that I learned, I definitely made it my duty to kind of put in perspective for everything.
Have a nice day. And remember, you can reach us on Facebook, Cool People Battle Creek. Good night.